This morning, I woke up after a second really difficult sleep. In the middle of the night at 1:33 a.m., I woke up because the dream or the thoughts that we're having were beyond evil. I will never share what they were. It was so horrific. And then, for the first time since I was a kid, since I had meningitis at the age of 8, I threw up, and this disgusting stuff came into my mouth, and I ran to the toilet, going, don't get to the toilet, and I threw it up, and I was in a bit of shock about what I'd just been through, and the thing is, I recognise it. For those of you who don't know, when I decided to go online on YouTube last year, I went on to the Charlie Ward show and thought I was going to be talking about conspiracies and stuff like that, because since I left the RAF 30 years ago, I knew that this world was wrong. There was something wrong, deeply, deeply wrong. Of course, back then I had no idea exactly what it was. All I knew was then that they'd covered up suicide of a friend, and that the government was lying to us. And I knew that there was no justification ever for taking another human's life. I knew this in my soul. Yet, I'd spent 10 years trying to become a pilot in the RAF, which was my deepest held dream from being about 7 years old. I always dreamt of flying, and I did. I got in, and I was good. In fact, I got the highest score in 22 years from Central Flying School, which some people in the organisation didn't like. But I left. I resigned, and I went forward in life, just following my instincts. I was writing poetry. I ended up writing plays. I was a stand-up comic. I was a journalist. I ran a theatre company. I was a producer, a director. Ended up being a West End director once. And then I realised how completely disempowered I was, and decided to make money, thinking that was the way to get more empowered. Of course, even then, I didn't realize it was a slave system, a slave economy that we were in. And I studied economics for 5 years, and nobody ever mentioned the fractional reserve banking system. And if you don't know what that is, you need to look it up, because that is the tool of our enslavement. Anyway, when I went on to the Charlie Ward show, I didn't know Charlie. I didn't know really what I was doing. The only reason I got onto that show is because I'd left a post on his Facebook page, which had got more likes and engagement than any other post that had ever been on his page. I think he had about 10,000 subscribers at the time. And this got noticed, and I got invited onto the show, and then it got delayed. And during that delay time, I got a very strong call from God to start my own channel, which is what I did. And I didn't know what I was going to talk about, really. And all this poetry started flowing out again. And the poetry was phenomenal for me, because it was a real spiritual experience, writing all of them. It was kind of like I was asked to chronicle this time in verse. But, whether you like poetry or not is irrelevant. But they are powerful. They're not perfect, but they're powerful. But when I ended up on that show, the subscribers that he gained were much, much higher than they were originally. So I got to a really large audience. I think it was about 70 or 80,000 people saw this video that I did. And when I did that video, I started talking about my earliest memory. And my earliest memory as a kid, if you haven't heard this before, is that demons came to me at night. And basically, I say demons are these horrific, horrible faces, and they just kept coming at me and coming at me and coming at me. And they kept saying, "You're really powerful. You've got to be on our side. We want you on our side. We want you on our side." And I was resisting it and resisting it and resisting it. In fact, there was a really weird night during the miners' strike. I think it was '73, when there was a 3-day week. The electricity was off for the rest of the week. My mum brought in a tea light, a co-op. Do you remember that?
Okay.
Sorry, she's here. A co-op tea light.
Oh yeah.
And put it next to my bed because she knew I was afraid of the dark. I was also afraid of spiders, and I know why now. From very early age, and this tea light was next to my bed, and my bed was against the wall like this. The tea light was over here, and as I sat up in the bed, there was a shadow on this side, as you'd expect from a candle over here, but there was also a shadow on the other side of the room, and that shadow was defined. It was very clearly defined. There was no sort of shadowiness about it. It was just a black silhouette outline, but it had horns on the head. And I was looking at it and going up and down, and wondering what these things were on my head. I now know what that was. That was demonic. It was the demons playing with me. It was the demons trying to frighten me. And I'm telling you, when I shared this story on Charlie Ward, I didn't plan it. It just came out. And then it opened up a whole new world for me, because I got contacted from people all over the world who said, that happened to me. That's exactly what happened to me. So then I went forward on this adventure in a meat suit, is what I called it, because we are spirits having a human experience, not humans having a spiritual experience. That was why it was called Adventures in a Meat Suit, because somebody once said that we are ghosts in a meat suit, which I thought was quite amusing. And I remember when I came up with that name, some people on Facebook were saying, "Oh no, I don't like that, considering what we're going through with celebrities and satanic people wearing meat suits or wearing, you know." But it rang true for me, and still does. It developed into Adventures in a Cosmic Suit because the whole experience that I was going through, that I'm still going through, was deeply, deeply spiritual. And I knew this as a kid. I knew from being a little kid that I had this thing, I had this light, because I was always being told stuff by people. I mean, they put me in Mensa when I was 7, and I was always being attacked. I was always being supported and held along the line, but I was always being attacked. And then all these horrific things happened. My dad died when I was 17. I had to switch the life support machine off, and I came out of the chapel arrest that night after I'd seen him laid out dead in his wedding suit, and I just shouted up at the sky, "I hate you." And then I denied the existence of God for years, and the demons ran amok with me, and they found my weaknesses. My weaknesses were women and alcohol, and they nearly killed me. I mean, cut a long story short, they nearly got me to the point of suicide 3 years ago. But something got me up. Something said to me, "You've got more work to do." I always had this feeling that I had more work to do, despite all the careers I'd been in and all the successes and failures that I've had. I always knew there was more to do. So I started this journey with YouTube, right? Which, you may or may not think is important, but in a way, it's very important, because whoever you think I am doesn't matter. We're all one consciousness, and just by sharing some of these thoughts and ideas and experiences, I've had thousands and thousands of emails from people saying I've literally saved their life, and JCK has had the same thing to a larger scale, and it's extraordinary, and it's like a lot of karma's cleared by doing this work. And I've never once called myself a light worker or a guru or anything like that, and I don't see myself like that either. In fact, I used to be referred to as an internet marketing guru 10, 12 years ago, and I shunned that title because nobody's a guru. The only guru there is you. You're the only guru that exists, and that's what this is all about. Finding the strength inside yourself and your connection to Source or God, whatever you want to call it. It's extremely, extremely real. And Mum's just answering the phone now. Hey, Mum. This is real life. I'm at my mum's at the moment. What time are you going? You need to. She's chatting. Can you hang on while I come and fetch you? No, you go and I'll come and fetch you. Anyway, hang on a sec. Mum, I'm making a video. Okay. Mum, I'm making a video. Yes, I still have a mother, even though I'm 52. She had me very young. She's brilliant. Anyway, where was I? I said I'm making a video. Just keep it quiet for a bit if you don't mind. But I wanted her to hear this, actually. That's why I played this. So, during the course of doing this work, and it is work, because we're in a war. If you're in any doubts about that, we're in a war, and it's a spiritual war. This is good versus evil. I know most of the subscribers on my channel understand that, and you're all amazing, and I'm grateful for you every single day. And the war takes a shape that you don't. It's not like going out on the battlefield, because the demons and the entities they've been inside all of us since we were born, because we were born into a demonic world, a world run by demons and controlled by demons. And these motherfuckers, they attach to you. They speak, whisper words in your ear. They find your weak point and they dig into it. They mine your weakness to make you do things, say things that are against your best interest, because they want to harvest your energy. And throughout the course of doing this, the videos that I've done, there have been people that have come on and presented themselves as really interesting or really nice or whatever, but they've been harvesting, trying to distract. And that's been part of the battle, getting through that. Some of the nicest sounding people you can imagine. And cutting them off has been a big part of the war. And my natural instinct all the way through everything I do is to help people. I just want to help people all the time. That's just the way I'm made. And what the demonic entities try to do is get you to the point in life where you feel like you don't deserve success, you don't deserve love, you don't deserve friendship, you don't deserve these things because of all the things that you did in the past that you weren't really responsible for. And that isn't a case of abrogating responsibility from your actions, because you still did them, but that's part of the demonic trap, is that they're like, haha, well, you're too late now, it's too late, your soul's already gone, because they want your soul. Your soul is the most precious gift to them, and getting you to take your own life is like one of the greatest gifts that you could give them, because they can't take your life, right? They can make you take your own life, or they can put you in situations where you might get killed, but they can't take your own life. Which means they don't really have any power apart from the ability to tap into your most sacred points, your deepest feelings, and what they do is they insert doubt, and they insert filth, and they insert pure evil into your mind, or into your sphere of reference, and then that's supposed to turn you make you weaker, right? So this happened to me last night, and it was the second night of really, really disjointed sleep and weird images that I've had. It's an attack, but I have something to say to you if you are part of the darkness. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, don't you? It's over for you. You will never ever win.